places aggravate all our cares. We'll save our fares. I've a cozy little flat in what is known as Old Manhattan. We'll settle down right here in town. This town, we'll have Manhattan, the Bronx, and Staten Island too. It's lovely going to the zoo. It's very fancy on Old Delancey Street, you know. The subway charms us so when balmy breezes blow to and fro. And tell me what street compares with Mott Street in July. The push carts gently gliding by. The great big city's a wondrous toy, just made for a girl and boy. We'll turn Manhattan into an Isle of Joy. Manhattan we will turn into an Isle of Joy. We'll have Manhattan, the Bronx, and Staten Island too. We'll try to cross Fifth Avenue. We'll go to Coney and eat bologna on a roll. In Central Park we'll stroll, where our first kiss we stole, soul to soul. I'd like to take a sail on Jamaica Bay with you, and fair Canarsie Lake we'll view. The city's bustle cannot destroy the dreams of a girl and boy. Oh, I happen to like New York. I happen to like this town. We'll turn Manhattan into an Isle of Joy. The city's clamor can never spoil the dreams of a boy and Goyle. We'll turn Manhattan into an Isle of Joy. My Isle of Joy.
And that was Lea Salonga singing Manhattan here at Feinstein's 54 Below. Hi, everyone. My name is Eric Piepenberg. I'm the digital theater editor at the New York Times. And I want to say a very special thank you to Lea for joining us today. And on piano, thank you to Jeff Harris for joining us today as well. Those of you watching, we'd love to hear your questions for Lea. We'll get to those in just a minute. But why don't we start with a question about your show here
Okay.
at Feinstein's 54 Below. Tell us a little bit about the show, and I'm curious to know especially why you chose that song to be part of the show.
Well, I think there's really no big secret that I think New York City is the greatest city in the world. And during the instrumental, I make that statement. And I think that it kind of, you know, captures the feeling I have and the affection that I have for this city. I mean, the very first time I ever stepped onto a New York City sidewalk, I just felt the energy come up through my feet, and it immediately just felt like home. And so whenever I sing it, it just makes me so happy. So I like starting the show and getting, you know, the energy in the room up with it. It's a wonderful arrangement by Larry Yerman, who is currently music director over at Moorpaint.
Tell us a little bit about the rest of the show. You have a really interesting lineup of songs. Tell us about some of the songs, some of the composers, songwriters that you'll be featuring.
We feature a lot of standards and pop. I think the pop songs, I think they kind of take over most of the set. I mean, we have Fast Car by Tracy Chapman. We have I Can't Make You Love Me. We have A Song for You. We have A Story of My Life by One Direction. We have All of Me by John Legend. We have Blurred Lines by Robin Thicke. And so it seems to be like probably the most pop-heavy cabaret program that I have ever done. And it makes me happy that we get to kind of blur the lines between genres, because how each of these songs is treated, they don't all sound like the pop songs we'd hear on the radio, and it's really cool.
We are getting a lot of fans
Oh, fantastic. Thank you, guys.
from the Philippines.
Maraming salamat. And it's 1:05 in the morning in Manila, and I'm surprised that people are actually awake, because it's coming up to Tuesday morning. Dapat natutulog na kayong lahat. I mean, you guys should be asleep right now. But I mean, I'm happy that you're keeping me company, but come on, you guys, it's bedtime.
Well, we have Irina would like to know, when are you going to be back in the Philippines? When will you be there next?
Right after I finish up here at Feinstein's 54 Below, I take a day to pack my stuff, and then I get on a plane and go home, because I have to continue my work on The Voice Teens. It's the first time in Asia that this version of The Voice is being done. We've done the regular season, which is all adults. We've done 3 seasons of The Voice Kids. And I think they do the kids version in quite a few different countries around the world. But The Voice Teens, I think there are just 2 countries worldwide that do it. There's Colombia and us. So we're the only ones in Asia doing it. And we have incredible talent. Over 4 days, we auditioned around 120 teenagers. And the genres that each of them tackles, it's like we have pop music, we have reggae, we have opera, we've got, older pop music, and then the pop music that we hear, we hear a lot of Ed Sheeran, we hear Sia, we have just so much new stuff. And so it's kind of challenging to us to see what we as coaches can contribute to their success on the show.
Leia, let me ask you a question about Miss Saigon, which the Broadway revival is just down the street from us.
I know, it's just one street away.
I'm curious to know if you could take a time machine. So just go with me here for a minute.
Okay.
If you could take a
Okay,
time machine and give some advice to your younger self, something that you know now.
Right.
Go back to 1991, I think it opened up
Yes,
Broadway.
that's right.
What advice do you think you would give your younger self about being a singer, about being a performer?
Okay. With regards to being a singer, it's remember all the lessons that you learned from your teachers. They will save you. Number 2, don't take this whole thing too seriously. Allow yourself to have a little more fun. I think I was a much more serious young person, and as I got older, the less serious I became, and the more fun I think that I was having with life. So I would say just have more fun within the show and out of it, because I mean, you only live once, and you should really enjoy the experiences that come, and not get too weighed down by the responsibility of the show, because ultimately it's just the show, and there's a whole lot of life outside of it. So those probably would be the 2 pieces of advice. Just take the lessons seriously, but have a good time.
I take it you've seen the revival?
I haven't yet.
You
I
haven't
mean,
yet?
I
Okay.
saw it in the West End
Okay.
a few years ago, but I've not seen it here. And I kind of have a very sentimental connection with the theater, because that was where Miss Saigon lived for nearly 10 years. So yeah, it'll be nice to go back into that theater and sit in one of the seats and be able to enjoy the show. I mean, I had seen the original production at least 3 or 4 times. I mean, since I left the first time, and then I had to watch it again in preparation for going back in 1999. So it was just really, really exciting, and I really, really loved that original show.
We have a question from Colleen. I think it is. I love this question. I'm sorry, from Gabrielle. Wants to know,
Gabrielle?
how do you conquer stage fright, or do you have stage fright?
I do. I mean, just before I went on stage a few days ago, I held my agent's hand, and he was like, "Oh my God, your hands are cold." Oh yeah, I can chill a bottle of champagne with my hands because they get really cold before I have to get out on stage, and so I don't think it's necessarily stage fright per se, but I just get really nervous before getting out there. The best way to combat stage fright is preparation. And it's making sure that you have all of your material as well rehearsed as you can be. And when you get out there, your body just kind of sort of takes over without you even having to try and think about everything that you need to do. I think it's trying to achieve that point of not thinking and thinking at the same time. It's a weird balance to kind of try to get to, but ultimately the best way to fight stage fright is to be absolutely as well prepared as you can be.
Leigh, we have another question from Irene, and I'd like to know this too. Any plans to come back to the theater? Any plans to come back to Broadway?
I always would love to come back, but at the moment there really isn't anything. And since I just finished Fun Home in Manila, I think I got my fix for a while. But I mean, this industry is one of those things that kind of turns on a dime. And I mean, I could go home after this conversation, and and I'll get a phone call and go, "Oh, by the way, such and such wants you for this show." So right now, there isn't anything, but in 24, 48, 72 hours, that may all change.
Tell us about Fun Home in Manila. What was that experience like?
The experience was incredible. I don't think any of us anticipated what the experience was going to be. I mean, we knew that we would all have a very fulfilling, cathartic, fantastic time working on this piece. And it was also really great that we had direct input from Janine Tesori and Lisa Crone. They were always emailing our director, Bobby Garcia, with what they knew, with how they wrote the show and what the creative process was and who these characters were in their eyes. And then we just kind of ran with it. We didn't expect that the audience would take to it in the way that they did and really embrace the show in the way that they did. I mean, I would go into the house and see my friends who would come, and see the show, and I would see like little hills of tissue where audiences would sit and cry. And there was one audience member that said, "One box of Kleenex is not enough for this." And I think that there were a lot of audience members that found themselves relating much more closely to the show than they thought when they walked into the theater. And it's the amazing thing about doing this gig is that you just never know who you're going to hit and how hard you're going to hit them.
Laura wants to know, what is your favorite musical? Besides Miss Saigon, what is your favorite musical there?
Oh, no. I have a very unhealthy obsession with Les Miserables. And it was the auditions for Miss Saigon that kind of got me started listening to Les Mis, because I picked on my own to be my audition piece. And then once I'd finished preparations and I started listening to the whole thing, I'm like, oh my God, what is this? What is this I'm listening to? And I think the first version of it that I was listening to was the original Broadway cast recording with Randy Graff playing Fantine and Judy Kuhn playing Cosette and Frances Ruffelle playing Eponine, and of course Colm Wilkinson and Terry Mann. And it was that combination of people that just made me just go, oh my gosh, this is not your typical Broadway song and dance musical. And so for me, that was, you know, what Hamilton is to a lot of young people, that's what Les Mis was to me. So I think I will be seeing a lot of incredible shows, and I will be going, oh my God, that is one of the best things I've ever seen. But for me, I think Les Mis is that show.
Leah, why don't we get one more question from our readers, and then we can end with one more song.
Sure.
Dana would like to know, who is the single living performer that you would be intimidated performing with? Is there anyone that you're just like, you'd love to perform with them, but you feel...
I'd probably pee in my pants if I ever got asked to sing with Barbra Streisand.
Okay.
I'd probably need to genuflect and just to get that out of the way, and then I'd get to work. But I'm not normally intimidated by anyone or anything, but I think she would be it. She would be my holy grail, and I think after being able to sing with her, I'd be able to probably climb Mount Everest or go white water rafting. I don't know. I'd feel like I'd be able to do anything because I'd have sung with her.
Great. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today.
Thanks, everyone.
Leah will be here at Feinstein's 54 Below, May 9th through 22nd in her new show. Oh, and I also wanted to mention there's an album as well.
There is an album titled Blurred Lines. And yes, that song is on the album too. But the reason for the name is that the genres that I tackle in the show kind of get blurred. Like you don't know which one was originally the jazz piece or the pop piece or what. And how each of these songs are treated and arranged and put together, it all just feels like one cohesive whole where you don't know where one song really ends and where another one begins. And it all makes sense when you're listening to it. But yeah.
And Leah, would you introduce your final song for us?
Okay,
please?
I would like to introduce this. This is one of my favorite songs. The first time I ever heard it, I wanted to sing it. So this is John Legend's All of Me.
What would I do without your smart mouth, drawing me in and you kicking me out? Got my head spinning, no kidding, I can't pin you down. What's going on in that beautiful mind? I'm on your magical mystery ride, and I'm so dizzy, don't know what hit me, but I'll be alright. My head's underwater, but I'm breathing fine. You're crazy and I'm out of my mind, 'cause all of me loves all of you, all your curves and all your edges, all your perfect imperfections. Give your all to me, I'll give my all to you. You're my end and my beginning. Even when I lose, I'm winning, 'cause I give you all of me, and you give me all of you. Oh, how many times do I have to tell you? Even when you're crying, you're beautiful too. The whole world's beautiful. all of me loves all of you, all your curves and all your edges, all your perfect imperfections. Give your all to me. I'll give my all to you. You're my end and my beginning. Even when I lose, I'm winning. 'Cause I give you all of me. And you give me all of you. Cards on the table, we're both showing hearts, risking it all, though it's hard. 'Cause all of me loves all of you, all your curves and all your edges, all your perfect imperfections. Give your all to me. I'll give my all to you. You're my end and my beginning. Even when I lose, I'm winning. 'Cause I give you all of me. And you give me all of you. And I'll give you all of me. And you give me all of you. Oh.
Thanks, everyone.